Hello everyone, I'm Tyler Rosado, and this is the DIVA Checkpoint. This is your go-to stop for bold insights, big vision, and real action from leaders across Circle K International. Each episode, my guests and I unpack what's happening, what's next, and how we're showing up to lead, with plenty of fun and maybe a little drama along the way. Without further ado, let's get into it. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the DIVA Checkpoint podcast, season 2. And today is a very special episode because it is our district convention special. A little recap and look back to our district convention from this past year, celebrating all of the accomplishments and achievements of our clubs, but also taking an opportunity for those who are new to the organization to get a little bit more understanding as to what district convention is, what all it entails, and why you should be in attendance at a future district convention, as well as future district events in general. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So for today's episode, I want to look at events from the weekend in a pretty sequential order. So our district convention in the Carolinas was from February 20th to the 22nd. That's a Friday through a Sunday. And I want to walk you through each of the events as they occurred. Starting with Friday, we started at 7 p.m. in Charlotte with our opening session. When we kick things off on Friday, there's something really special about that first day. You've got people arriving from all across the district, reuniting with one another, especially if they haven't seen each other since Fall Call, or maybe since the last district convention. They're making new friends as well, all at the same time, and stepping into a shared space of excitement. I think that's one of the best things about this event. There's something palpable in the air when people get together for a Circle K district convention. And so we move into our opening session where everything officially begins and you feel the energy in the room immediately. There's all sorts of introductions happening. We're introducing our district officers. We are getting to know one another. This year we did a really fun icebreaker to really just get to know one another, make sure that we're all feeling the community, because that's really what we're trying to emphasize at any of our district events. Overall, opening session is a great time to remind ourselves that we are more than just individual clubs, but a united district working to serve communities and campuses and all the important causes that we care about as students. I want to include a little clip here. We got to hear from our international trustee, Theodore, who addressed the opening session. Let's take a listen.
Hello, Carolinas District. For those who might not know me, my name is Theodore Doyle, and I'm incredibly proud to serve as your international trustee. First and foremost, I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for your hard work and dedication throughout this service year. Carolinas is a district that truly operates with class. Whenever you set out to do something, you execute it at the highest level. And that standard of excellence is something I deeply admire about your district.
So after all the fun festivities of our opening session, we moved into some CKI workshops. And this is really where the growth starts. We're looking at leadership development, service ideas, personal growth, workshops that give you tangible things you can take back to your home club. And they also remind you that everyone is figuring these things out together. So we all bring something to the table. We're not just coming to learn, and we're not just coming at a deficit. We all have unique things and approaches in our clubs, and we're sharing them with each other and trading those insights. I had the pleasure of leading a workshop on Friday night about joining our district board, because that is something that we hold elections for during district convention. And we'll get more into that part. But I think what's exciting about hosting a workshop about running for district office on Friday night is that, yes, some people come to district convention ready to run, and they've prepared literature and all sorts of things, and they've already prepared some speeches. But it's also exciting to see people realize that they are also passionate about our organization, and they have the skills and knowledge needed to run for a position on our district board. And so I've loved to see people get excited in that workshop and determined to throw their hat in the ring and run. Because I think it's always more beneficial to our organization when we are able to have contested elections where, we have to think strategically about what we care about, but also who we are as individuals and how that makes us the best leader possible for any given position. So it's really exciting, but there are all sorts of other workshops about fundraising in your clubs or about how to attend international convention coming up this summer in Dallas, but all sorts of different opportunities. And at the same time, you're attending these workshops with fellow CKI members from across the Carolinas. And so it's a really great opportunity to continue to chat with people, especially if you've met some people during opening session very briefly and you want to get to know them more. It's a great time to hang out and interact. Now we're moving into Saturday. Saturday morning starts strong with district caucusing. This is where candidates for district office step forward, share their vision, and answer questions from members. It's one of the most important parts of the weekend, even though we may not think about it off the top of our heads when we're reflecting on the weekend, because it's an opportunity for people to, like I said before, share what makes them uniquely fitted to the position, to share their vision for where Carolina CKI can be within a year's time. And it's really awesome to hear directly from people who want to lead and who plan to serve in a new capacity that they haven't previously. So it's a very thoughtful and intentional time, but it also provides other members who aren't running the opportunity to ask questions and to get to know the candidates. So that way they feel just as invested in the position and those who hold the position as the people that hold the office. So I think that's all super, super amazing. And I want to throw it to an interview I got with Sahana Suresh. She is the current District Secretary-Treasurer elect because she was elected at this past district convention. And so I wanted to pick her brain a little bit about this process. So if you're listening and you're about to attend a future district convention, maybe these insights can help you out a bit. Hello, Sahana, and welcome to the DIVA Checkpoint. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Tyler. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and I'm super excited that you could join me for this very special episode all about our district convention, especially since I have to congratulate on your election as our next district secretary treasurer. I would love for you to jump right in and tell us just a little bit about what inspired you to run at district convention.
Well, yeah, I'm very excited to start my term and get to lead con next week as well. I started off joining Key Club in high school. So I went to high school in Raleigh, and that was very prevalent. And I was excited to jump in and do some service in the community. And Key Club was like the main thing that everybody went to. So I was dragged along to the interest meeting with my friends, and I did Key Club all 4 years. I was on board for uh, 3 years with after my freshman year, and it was great. And then I applied for a scholarship through Key Club, and I was at one of the Kiwanis meetings, and I actually met Tyler, you, and you were like, "You should join Circle K," and I had no clue Circle K existed till that summer, and I was excited to come to ECU and begin that and kind of get back into the realm of service here. And this was actually my first decon, so it was exciting to see how everything ran, but also run for board and just kind of continue um, my goals for and expand them in the future as well. Trying to keep going in the service field and see what I could do to give back to the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's amazing that you took the opportunity to run. And one of the things that I want to highlight for people who they might not be familiar with it until they get to a district convention, but we do a thing called district caucusing where, everyone gets to ask questions of the candidates before, we move into different sessions to learn more about them. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about that. How are you feeling going into that session versus how did you feel after you had the opportunity to speak during district caucusing?
Since it was my first decon, I had no expectations of how caucusing would actually work. So I was very nervous. I was like, oh my God, what if they ask about this? What if they ask about that? What's going to happen? But I think when I was doing it, whenever I was actually giving the speeches, everyone would be nodding or giving a smile. So it wasn't as if they're like terrorizing you or interrogating you. So that was very calming as I got into the process. And even the meet and greet with the speakers that happened later in the day, that was also great because then I could talk to people individually and talk about what I wanted to do. And they ask questions, whether that be about Circle K or everything else I do outside of just in life for general, for fun, and kind of understand who I am as a person. So I was definitely terrified at the beginning, but as the day went along, it was so much more better.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. I think that is probably the biggest hurdle to get over for all of our candidates is the nerves. But I think it's a regular experience to feel a lot better after you get through it, and you have that opportunity to talk to the people that will be voting for your position. So that's really amazing. I love to hear that. What would you say to anyone listening who is maybe preparing for the next district convention, or even if they're just planning to apply for a position or they're going to run in their clubs? What would you say to any of those people listening who are kind of on the fence about that decision?
I would say you should definitely run. I'm always going to say run for the leadership position, get that experience. Something that was told to me earlier from high school and that I carried on to do that in ECU as well. Some of the members at my club at ECU, they've also been on regional boards, so they encouraged me to run. They were like, it's a great experience. It gives you a lot of leadership qualities and you build on to those as you go along during the year, whether that be organizing, decon, or being governor or being service chair. Angel was talking to me a lot about that. And those service is a big part of everything that we do. It also exposes you to new environments, new people, new connections, and new opportunities. So if you guys are thinking about running, you should definitely run. It's always worth it to try and not get something versus not trying at all.
Absolutely. I can't think of a better way to put it. Thank you so much, Sahana, for joining me for this special episode, and I wish you the best of luck on your term.
Thank you so much.
All right, after caucusing, we move into some joint CKI and Kiwanis workshops. We haven't really addressed this too much this far, but our CKI convention has the privilege of being a joint convention with the Carolinas Kiwanis mid-year conference. And what's really exciting about that is we are always talking about the benefits of this kind of K family organization, right? That we aren't just individuals on a college campus in one club, but we have multiple clubs. We build this district together, and then we also have high schoolers in Key Club who are all destined to serve the same mission. And then we have our adult counterparts in Kiwanis who they are also professionals, whether it's young professionals or up to retirees and everything in between, passionate about serving people, especially serving children in the communities that we live in. And so it's exciting to be able to see that in person with, so many different Kiwanians trying to interact with us, talk to us, and it also helps you identify that you are gaining so much knowledge and so many skills by being part of our organization because Kiwanians want to hear from us. We have some sessions during this time that are led by Kiwanians, but there's also some sessions that are led by CKI members because we equally are serving in clubs that have challenges and obstacles and we learn how to navigate them. And then in the same way that us as CKI members, we want to learn from Kiwanians who have experience and time in these roles and have professional experience and life experience. But they also know that us as college students, we have a lot of perspective on the way the world is shifting, the way the world is moving, and how to navigate some of these 21st century problems. So it's a really amazing exchange of knowledge, and you do walk away with connections and networking opportunities and plenty of resources, not only for your CKI success, but your future personal success as well. And I think that is what CKI is all about. Not only are we about the service and about the fellowship, but also about leadership and developing every member into a holistic professional that can go out into the world, achieve their goals, and in turn serve their community. So somewhere in between all of the workshops with Kiwanis and Circle K, we have a K family luncheon where we all join together in a large ballroom and sit for a meal. We share insight, laughs, food, of course, but also just time together to really witness the impact we're having and to see all of each other. Because, of course, you run into different people at different workshops and things like that, but it's really amazing to have a dedicated hour and a half to sit down, enjoy a meal, and see all of these people coming together for a weekend who really care about serving, about making a difference in their world. It's really inspiring, and it really fulfills you for the rest of the service year and into the next one. And I, as governor, have the privilege of speaking at this luncheon. And so I wanted to share that speech with you on this episode, because not only is it about the DIVA Checkpoint podcast, but the speech also speaks to the amount of effort we put into things, right? We're in a service organization that requires effort. We are in college classes that require effort. And sometimes you might be finding yourself asking, why am I putting effort into something, especially the amount of effort you put into something? And it's really important to reflect on why we've put that effort in, because sometimes it's not necessarily clear, but it is important. And so this speech really helps reiterate why I'm willing to put so much effort into a CKI podcast. And I hope it inspires you to look into those things that you dedicate time to and reflect on why they are important to you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. It's always a great day to be before Carolinas Kiwanis, isn't that right? Yes. Well, hello, and thank you for inviting me to speak with you all once again. I had such a pleasure being with you all in Asheville for your district convention last year. And at the time, I spoke of a bold vision for the Carolinas district of Circle K International, inspired by the service of those who came before me. Today, it is my distinct privilege to report that our district is not merely enduring, but thriving. We are not just holding up a mirror to our past successes, but opening windows to an even brighter future. And we have much to celebrate this weekend because of that. So before I go honoring our seniors, some awardees, and other accomplishments, I want to talk a bit about a personal passion project of mine. It's called the DIVA Checkpoint, and at its heart, it's built on this very idea of windows and mirrors. If you haven't heard of the DIVA Checkpoint podcast, DIVA stands for District Insight, Vision, and Action, and it's hosted by yours truly. Each week, I invite guests who are prominent leaders, visionaries, and change makers in both Circle K and Kiwanis to share tips for recruiting members and operating our clubs. I also try to dig a little deeper, asking for my guests' biggest DIVA moment, something big and bold they've seen or experienced in this organization. In many ways, the podcast serves as a mirror, reflecting the wisdom, experience, and excellence that already exists within our organization. In the most recent episode, I had the pleasure of interviewing District Trustee and High Point CKI Advisor, Ms. Joan Campbell. Round of applause for Ms. Joan. We talked about all the benefits of being a Kiwanian invested in Circle K, and why it's important to seek leadership no matter which branch of the K family you call home. You may be wondering, why start a CKI podcast? After all, episodes take about an hour to film, an hour to edit, an hour to finalize and publish, and there are 8 episodes each season. Does such a project really warrant 24 dedicated hours of attention? Well, I can say that I know one big fan really personally. It's my mom, who's here with us this weekend. Also, my partner Lee is another big fan. My little brother Wyatt, I'm not sure if he's listening yet, but he supports me in all my endeavors, so. But of course, I'm sure you're probably asking for more objective testimonials. So I want to share an email that I got from someone who, this really just blew me away and really supports why I do this podcast and I dedicate so much time to it. This email reads, "Hello, my name is Justin, and I'm a high school junior and president of a Key Club in Washington State. I was listening to the DIVA Checkpoint, parentheses, great podcast, And I had a question on the transition from Key Club to CKI. What advice would you have for Key Club officers as they transition into CKI members? And what mindset should we go in with as we make that transition? Best regards, Justin. You can imagine my shock having a listener across the country, someone who I might have never interacted with if it weren't for this podcast. Beyond sharing tips for our existing members, the DIVA Checkpoint podcast has become a recruitment tool that lets potential members get a glimpse into what our organization has in store. That's why during our Carolinas CKI District Convention this weekend, I'm recording interviews and sessions to share in a special episode all about our convention next month. So in fact, right in this moment, you are inside an episode of the DIVA Checkpoint podcast. This podcast is not just a mirror for our existing members to reflect, but a window that allows others to peek into our organization and see what all the fuss is about. I'd like to think Justin could be a Carolina CKI member one day, or perhaps a Carolina Squanian. The truth of the matter is, whether we like it or not, people are moving to the Carolinas in droves to get a piece of our magic in this district. It is of paramount importance that we prepare to recruit individuals who don't even call the Carolinas home yet. Although Circle K is my primary commitment at this time, I'm always inspired by the work of our Quanians, and I'm eager to give back in any way that I can. That is why I've been excited to work with Governor John and new Club Committee Chair Mary on opening 3 new clubs in Apex, Cary, and Garner next week in my backyard. As Quanians and Circle K members, we can all do our part to build a recruitment pipeline and pave a path for all to feel welcome and included in our organizations. Given the current state of our world, it is clear that our service and our leadership is needed now more than ever before. The world is searching for hope. Let us be the mirror that reflects integrity and compassion, and the window that offers vision and possibilities. So I brought some leaflets with me today. You might have noticed them, they're on your tables. And scan the QR code to get access to the DIVA Checkpoint podcast. Give it a listen. You might find an anecdote or two, or maybe some secret drama that you didn't know about that was going on in the Carolinas district. You never know. Over time, some things are lost to history, but I believe the strongest organizations are the ones brave enough to look honestly in the mirror and bold enough to keep building new windows. I'm willing to innovate and collaborate with each and every one of you so that the Carolinas district is never one of those things forgotten. I hope you are too. Thank you all so much.
So after we've done our workshops and our K-Family luncheon, we move into a candidate meet and greet session. We've already had our district caucusing, as mentioned earlier, where candidates got up in front of everyone, gave introductory speeches, and answered questions. But we want there to also be time for people to really get to know the candidates, talk more, ask more questions. Maybe they've had time to think about what it is they want to ask, or maybe even ask follow-up questions to things they said during district caucusing, and the candidate meet and greet session provides that space. So candidates spread out in our main session area. They spread to different tables for each candidate, and then non-candidate members can circulate around the room, talk to people, ask different questions. If they've got a lot of questions for a candidate, they can sit and stay for a while. If they've only got a couple questions here and there, they can just pop around. And it really gives people the time to really explore their options for House of Delegates, which comes later in the evening. But before we get to that, after the candidate meet and greet session is free time, and it's one of the best times because you come to this event, you make all these new friends, and as much as it's an awesome opportunity to do workshops and do these different sessions, you want some time to just hang out. So we have tons of free time Saturday. You're in Charlotte, North Carolina, with tons of places to explore, try new foods and activities. So we give free time to do just that. Now, speaking of all the fun with free time, I wanted to talk to a first-time attendee who could share a little bit about their perspective on the different events and how things went. And so I tapped our NC State CKI President-elect, Bella, who was able to attend her first district convention this past February. So Let's take a listen and hear what she had to say. Well, hello, Bella. Thank you for joining me on this very special episode of the Diva Checkpoint. And
Thank you for
before
having me.
Of course, of course. And before we get sidetracked, I do want to congratulate you on your recent election as club president at NC State CKI. Such a high honor. I'm
Thank you
so
so
excited.
much.
So excited to see what you do in the role. But of course, today I want to talk to you about decon, especially since this year you were a first-time attendee. So give me a brief overview of what it is that you saw and experienced during the weekend.
Going into decon, I did not really know what to expect. I was not in CKI last year. I did not do Key Club in high school or anything like that. But, you know, I went to fall call and I had a great time. So I decided might as well go to decon too. The ride down was honestly not as long as I was expecting it to be. We hit some traffic, but me and Mina were sitting in the back seat just like yapping. Kate was driving. So we got to decon a little bit late, kind of started, went off into our own little panels. I was with Miss Joan, and we just kind of started off right off the bat, just immediately with some scenarios for clubs. And I honestly was really appreciating just like the professionalism of it all. I just like immediately getting right into it, really getting what you paid for. And then we went back to our rooms. I got to meet my roommate. Great, by the way, love her. She was from NC Central, and we really bonded immediately that first night over shared music and like interests. She was great. And breakfast better than I was expecting. I was liking not having to start as early as I was expecting. Um, I went to some great panels, and I particularly really enjoyed Kate's panel. She talked about the documentary on the book, Bowling Alone, and I kind of felt pretty moved to talk about, I mean, her discussion, she was asking about should we start with like how can we get more people to join CKI? How can we really bridge that gap in ages? Because Kiwanis is kind of struggling with getting younger people to join. And I did some great networking. Multiple people came up to me after that panel and really wanted to talk, and it was very great. The award ceremony was actually interesting. I wasn't expecting to want to pay attention during the awards, but it was very interesting. I was very moved by the speaker. Her name's not with me right now, but I loved her little anecdote about doing the little boot camp that she did and then becoming a children's author. I actually felt very moved by that. And just great networking. It was really great to see everybody from Fall Call who was there, and then meeting a lot of new people who were not at Fall Call. And it was just great to see everybody again.
Yeah, yeah, that's such a great overview. Definitely action packed from the way it sounds. And that's I think a typical district convention is there's a lot going on, a lot of switching gears a little bit here. I know you've just been elected. Officer training for our clubs will be coming soon. But tell me just a couple of things maybe that stood out to you that now that you're stepping into this president's role, what are some ways that a future club officer would benefit from attending district convention?
District convention, the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of district convention is networking. It was great to see some familiar faces from other people in CKI and their college level clubs. It was great to see some new faces from CKI, but it was also very beneficial to talk to Kiwanians and get their support, get their ideas, just discuss ideas with them, and just discuss your lives, your interests, your hobbies, everything that you have in common. Because I think the most interesting conversations that I had while I was at Decon were with Kiwanians, because they have a lot to say and they also have a lot of questions for you. And it is very good to establish that relationship, regardless of whether or not they're your local Kiwanis club or another Kiwanis club in your district or even in international. It's very important to establish connections with people, regardless of age and demographic and background.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd love to close us out here with kind of your biggest diva moment from the weekend. What was something big and bold that just completely stood out to you, something you'll take away for the rest of your time in the organization from that weekend?
I will say my diva moment, I have been thinking about this, and it honestly did not take much thinking, because whenever we came to have for the awards and we had our little lunch or dinner or whatever it was, I sat down at a table with two other of my friends from NCSU CKI. I didn't know who else I was sitting with, and I happened to be sitting next to Miss Joan. And our table, I'm telling you, we called it the winner's table because it was award after award after award. NC State got an award, NC State got another award, High Point got an award, Miss Joan herself got an award. And I felt like I was on cloud nine. It was fantastic. It was a great experience. That was definitely my diva moment. Winner's table for sure.
Amazing, amazing. And that's definitely my favorite part too, is getting to give awards. If I could do that the entire weekend, if they had let me, I would have. But definitely thank you so much for sharing your experience, and I hope to see you at many future district conventions.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right, once folks come back from all the fun of free time, it's time for the President's Award Ceremony, which is a really awesome time to celebrate all the accomplishments of clubs. I know we spend so much time in work mode trying to figure out what events we can host, how we should host them, but it's important to also reflect and say, hey, we've done an amazing amount of work. We've done a great job in our clubs, and it's always my favorite opportunity to give out awards and, let people feel recognized for the work they're doing. So now I'm going to read off some of our signature awards and the awardees from District Convention. And of course, if you're a club member, I encourage you to keep note of any interesting awards that you're hearing that you want to learn more about, because it's really important that, a month or two before District Convention, you start to plan for which awards you're going to apply for. And of course, some are for the entire club and require a group effort, but some are also awards for individuals, and you can submit those on your own as well. So all sorts of amazing stuff. Let's get right into it. Starting with the Lloyd Coffee Club Traditional Scrapbook Award. This was given to the Circle K Club of NC State, and the Lloyd Coffee Club Non-Traditional Scrapbook Award goes to the Circle K Club of High Point University. So we have awards for traditional and non-traditional scrapbooks, ways to visually show off the things that your club has done, all of the events, all of the service, all of the fellowship opportunities. It's a really great way to recruit new members by having either a physical scrapbook that you can bring to tabling or a virtual scrapbook of some different make that you can put on a website or on social media. So we really encourage these unique ways to promote your clubs, and we do that with this award. Our Outstanding Club T-Shirt Design Award went to the Circle K Club of NC State. Of course, we want you to promote your clubs not only with your tabling and with your social media presence, but also with the clothing you wear to service events. And so having a really awesome t-shirt is a great way to do that. The Lee Hyatt Interclub Award went to the Circle K Club of NC State as well. It's important to collaborate with different clubs, not only at these district events, but all throughout the year. At any time, your club can reach out to another nearby Circle K Club and talk about ways to connect, whether it's attending each other's general meetings or having a joint service project together and anything in between. So we highly, highly encourage that here at the district level. The H.C. Evans Outstanding Kiwanis Family Relations Award went to the Circle K Club of NC State for keeping in touch with the Kiwanis Club of Raleigh and really working to build a tighter connection these past couple of years. It is one of the best ways to strengthen your Circle K Club by collaborating with your sponsoring Kiwanis Club. And so anytime you can do that, I would recommend you take that opportunity. The Vic Vickery Outstanding Kiwanis Sponsorship Award went to High Point Kiwanis for their work in supporting High Point University's Circle K Club. They are always collaborating, attending each other's events, so it's really exciting to promote that in our district as well. The James G. Griffin Kiwanis Advisor Award went to Joan Campbell, who was recently on the podcast. And I'm sure if you listen to her episode, it won't surprise you as to why she was the awardee for the Advisor Award. And we also honored our new clubs this year with the New Club Award, which was given to Lee's McRae Circle K Club and Methodist Circle K Club. Next up, we have the Herbert W. Heining Single Service Award, which went to the Circle K Club of High Point University for the Miss HPU pageant, which this past year raised over $30,000 for UNICEF USA's Brick by Brick initiative, which is amazing. The Most Service Per Club Award and the Most Service Per Member Award were both given to the CKI Club at High Point for the amount of service they have done, not only as a collective, but the most service per each member in their club was the highest throughout the district. So that was really awesome to acknowledge. And the Club Achievement Award also went to the Circle K Club of High Point University for their tremendous work with the Miss HPU pageant and all their other service initiatives that garnered them multiple awards. The Outstanding New Member Award was given to Rachel Gilkey of NC State Circle K Club. The Distinguished Club Treasurer Award was given to Erica Freeman of High Point Circle K. Distinguished Club President Award was given to Lily Wilson of High Point Circle K, and the Robert G. Prongay Distinguished Member Award was given to Peyton Melton of NC State Circle K. Now, one of my favorite awards is the Honorary Circle K Membership, which is an award that is bestowed to typically an alumni or an advisor of Circle K clubs, and it bestows them lifetime membership in our organization. The protections of our bylaws and all of their rules apply to them at any Circle K club. They are always welcome to come join in service and fellowship and really just find a home in Circle K for as long as they would like. So this year I had the honor of bestowing our honorary CKI membership award to Kelvin Pineda, who was the 2018-2019 Carolinas CKI District Governor. He has totally not stopped contributing to the district even after his term. I benefited from having his guidance at my governor administrator planning session before we went to governor training. He was able to attend and provide insight along with many other governors, but I think a lot of the other governors that came before me after his term can also agree that he provides insights every year to the new governor. And so I really wanted to honor him for his continued efforts in supporting the leadership in the Carolinas district. Finally, Saturday closes out with the House of Delegates session. Now, this is a packed session where delegates who are selected to represent each of our clubs vote on different bylaw amendments and vote for positions for district office. Candidates are given some time to address the delegates one last time before each vote, and it's a really great opportunity to put the cherry on top of your campaign, reiterate what you are passionate about and what you intend to do with the position before the delegates move to a vote. I want to take this opportunity to shout out everyone who was elected during our House of Delegates at this past district convention, starting with Kenny Williams, who was elected Lieutenant Governor, Mina Newsome, who was elected District Editor, Sahana Suresh, who was elected Secretary-Treasurer, and William Townsend, who was elected Governor. Congratulations again to each of the candidates on their election, because by far they each did their best to explain what they would like to do in the position and how they can serve our district, and I am confident that each of them working together will create tons of benefit to our organization. So I'm so excited to see what they do. Sunday is pretty brief, but for myself, at least, I can say it's very emotional, and I think some of our attendees will definitely agree with me there. We have the retiring of our old district board, the installation of our new district board. The outgoing governor gives a farewell address, so that was me this year. And I really just wanted to reiterate that I was so thankful for everyone's support this year. I think oftentimes many people come to me and thank me for my leadership, and I appreciate it 100%. But I really wanted to take the opportunity on Sunday to say thank you to everyone who enabled me to be a leader and who enabled me to have this position and give back to the organization in this way. We also hear from our district administrator, Jennifer, get a little reflection from her for the year, and really look ahead to the next service year and all of the amazing things that are on the horizon. So if you've never been to a district convention before, please let this be your sign. Come for the workshops and the service projects and stay for the people. Stay for the opportunity to meet Kiwanians and Circle K members, to build your network, and ultimately leave with something you didn't even know you needed, something you didn't even know was possible with your membership in Circle K. You wouldn't know it's possible until you attend our district convention, because district convention is not just an event you attend. It's something you fully experience. And once you do, you will want to be there for every district convention going forward. So thank you for tuning into this special recap episode of the DIVA Checkpoint. If you're listening as someone who attended a previous district convention, please share this with your club members to let them know about all the amazing and fun opportunities we have at future district conventions, because I would love for as many members as possible to experience the joy and the magic of our district-wide events. Thanks for tuning in to the DIVA Checkpoint podcast with me, Tyler Rosado. For more episodes, be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts. And hey, if you've got something to say, we want you to be a guest on our show. Head over to bit.ly/CKI podcast for more information. Until next time, keep leading loud, CKI.